You can give her flowers. You can send her messages every single day. You can be constantly available. You can do everything right and still watch her slowly drift away from you. You can swear that you love her. You can promise to change. You can say you would do absolutely anything for her and still feel like something invisible is slipping through your fingers like sand. Here's the truth, and it's harsh but necessary. Most men don't really understand what a woman truly wants. Not because women are complicated or irrational, but because female desire operates on a frequency that nobody ever taught you how to understand. David Buss is an evolutionary psychologist from the University of Texas who spent more than 30 years studying the actual mechanisms of human attraction. What he discovered fundamentally challenges the romantic fantasy that many men have carried since their teenage years. In his groundbreaking book, The Evolution of Desire, Buss explains that women's preferences are not random emotions or social inventions. They are survival algorithms shaped by millions of years of natural selection. The female brain evolved to detect clear signals of value, protection, and genuine investment. Not sweet words, not empty promises, but behaviors, patterns, and energy, the things you communicate before you ever speak a word. Here's the difficult truth. You were trained to please. You learned to be useful. You were taught to prove your worth through visible effort and constant availability. And that is precisely what often kills attraction. While you're trying desperately to prove your value, she has already decided, completely unconsciously, within seconds, whether you trigger the instinct that makes her want to stay. That instinct does not respond to logic. It responds to precise emotional triggers that most men completely ignore. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the 3 pillars that shape female satisfaction. These aren't guesses. These aren't opinions. They are patterns identified by evolutionary psychology, the neuroscience of desire, and decades of rigorous research on human behavior. 3 elements that, when missing, turn any relationship into silent frustration. And when present, create a connection she cannot fully explain, but also cannot walk away from. Pay close attention, because what you're about to discover can fundamentally change the way she looks at you forever. The first pillar, emotional security. She may never tell you directly. She might not even know how to explain it in words. But there is a feeling that every woman looks for before she truly gives herself to a man. And that feeling has absolutely nothing to do with passion, butterflies, or dramatic love confessions. What she wants first is to feel like she can breathe around you. She wants to lower her guard. She wants to know that she doesn't need to stay on constant alert, trying to predict your mood, your intentions, or your next move. That feeling is called emotional security. Without it, no attraction survives. Period. An emotionally unstable man doesn't create desire. He creates tension, the wrong kind of tension. When you explode over small, insignificant things, when your mood shifts without warning, when she never knows whether she's going to meet the caring version of you or the distant one, her brain goes into protection mode. She cannot relax. And a woman who cannot relax around you will never connect with you on a deep level. She might stay with you for a while out of need, out of habit, or out of fear of being alone. But true commitment, the kind that turns a relationship into something solid and real, will never develop because she does not feel safe. And emotional security is the fertile ground where female desire grows. In 2017, a groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology confirmed this exact idea. Researchers found that emotional predictability in a partner is one of the strongest indicators of female satisfaction in long-term relationships. This isn't about being boring. This is about consistency. It's about being the same man on Tuesday morning as you are on Saturday night. It's about not turning every disagreement into a battlefield. It's about showing through repeated actions that she can trust who you are because you don't change depending on the situation. Many men confuse emotional stability with weakness. They think that being calm means being submissive. They think controlling their reactions means suppressing everything and accepting anything. That's completely untrue. An emotionally centered man is not someone who never feels anger, frustration, or jealousy. He feels all of it, but he is not controlled by those emotions. He processes, he breathes, he chooses how to respond instead of simply exploding in reaction. This ability to stay centered when everything around him feels chaotic is one of the most attractive qualities a man can possibly develop, because it sends a powerful message to the female instinct. It says, "This man can handle pressure. This man will not fall apart. This man is a safe harbor." Neuroscience explains exactly what happens inside her body when that safety is present. When a woman feels emotionally protected, her brain begins to release oxytocin, the hormone responsible for bonding and emotional connection. It's the same chemical released during physical touch, during sex, during moments of deep intimacy. Without that release, desire may exist on the surface, but it never transforms into something lasting. She may find you attractive. She may genuinely enjoy your company, but that feeling of belonging, the desire to stay, that choosing of you every single day, that only grows when her nervous system recognizes that she is in a safe environment, and you are that environment. Now, pay very close attention here, because this is where one of the biggest male mistakes reveals itself. Every woman will test your emotional stability. It is not cruelty. It is not conscious manipulation. It is an evolutionary verification mechanism running on complete autopilot. She will create small conflicts. She will ask questions that feel like traps. She will observe how you react when you're tired, irritated, or under pressure. These tests exist because the female brain needs evidence before investing emotionally in someone. She needs to know if you truly are who you appear to be, or if you will reveal a completely different face when things become difficult. The man who passes these tests is not the one who never makes mistakes. He is the one who doesn't lose his essence when he does make them. He recognizes the error. He adjusts his course. He stays steady, without drama, without playing the victim, without blaming her. The real question is simple. When she looks at you, what does her body feel? Relief or tension? Calm or anxiety? A desire to move closer or an urge to protect herself? The answer lies in your consistency. It lies in how you handle your bad days. It lies in the energy you bring when you enter a room. Emotional security is not declared with words. It is demonstrated every single day, in every reaction, in every silence, in every choice to stay in control when it would be easier to lose it. This is the first pillar. Without it, nothing that comes after will stand. The second pillar, direction and purpose. Here's something that might seem counterintuitive, especially if you grew up believing that love means putting the person you love above everything else. But I'm going to say it clearly. No woman wants to be the center of your life. This may shock you, but it's the truth. When you make a woman your reason for living, your main project, the most important thing you possess, something inside her begins to pull away. It is not ingratitude. It is not coldness. It is the female instinct recognizing a dangerous pattern. A man without his own direction is a man who will drain her energy to fill his emptiness. And no woman wants to carry that weight. She doesn't want to be your entire world. She wants to be part of a life that already has meaning. The most attractive men do not have space in their lives for a woman to be the center, because that space is already occupied by a purpose, by goals that existed before her and will continue even if she leaves, by a path that does not depend on her validation to keep moving forward. This doesn't mean ignoring her or treating her as something secondary. It means being crystal clear about where you're going and making her understand that you are inviting her on that journey, not asking her to define it for you. That difference might seem small, but it changes absolutely everything. In 1943, Abraham Maslow published a paper that would change psychology forever. In his hierarchy of needs, Maslow showed that self-actualization, the pursuit of one's highest potential, is the highest human need. What many people fail to notice is how this directly impacts romantic attraction. A man pursuing self-actualization radiates an energy that cannot be faked. He has direction. He has momentum. He has a fire in his eyes that shows he is building something real. This energy is deeply attractive to the female mind, not because women simply want money or status, but because this posture signals something fundamental. This man does not need me to feel complete. And paradoxically, that is exactly what makes her want to be part of his life even more. When you have no purpose, you become heavy. You cling. You turn her into your only source of meaning. Every message she doesn't answer becomes a crisis. Every night she doesn't spend with you feels like a threat. Every sign of her independence creates anxiety because deep down you know that without her you feel like you have nothing. This energy can be felt no matter how hard you try to hide it. She senses that you are an empty container trying to fill yourself through her, and that pushes her away. Not because she doesn't like you, but because the weight is simply too much. The opposite of this is the man with genuine ambition. He's the one who wakes up with a clear vision of what he needs to accomplish. He's chasing a vision that goes far beyond the relationship. He treats his career, his body, his mind, and his friendships as projects that deserve his daily attention and energy. This man doesn't need a woman to feel valuable. He already is. And when he chooses to give her his attention, it means something significant because she knows his time is limited, his energy is valuable, and his focus is selective. Being chosen by someone who doesn't need to choose anyone creates a completely different level of attraction. Ask yourself this question honestly. If she disappeared from your life tomorrow, what would remain? What would keep you moving forward? What would make you get out of bed in the morning? If the answer is nothing, or I don't know, then you have found exactly where you need to start working. This is the second pillar. A woman needs to see that you are going somewhere, that you have a life beyond her, that your existence does not depend on her presence to have meaning. Without this, you become a trap. With this, you become a destination she wants to reach. The third pillar, physical presence and sexual tension. Without tension, there is no romantic attraction. There can be affection, there can be friendship, there can be admiration, but that desire that makes a woman think about you when she is alone, that makes her body react when you come closer, that makes her want to touch you and be touched, that only appears when there is genuine polarity between you. Polarity is a masculine energy that contrasts with her feminine energy. It's a silent dance of closeness and distance, looks that say more than words, pauses filled with possibility. It's presence combined with mystery. Most men destroy this tension without even realizing they're doing it. And the mistake usually comes from fear. Fear of looking aggressive, fear of being rejected, fear of ruining the friendship. So the man behaves in a neutral way. He avoids physical contact. He avoids long eye contact. He avoids anything that could be interpreted as sexual interest. He wants to play it safe. He wants to earn her trust first, build a solid foundation, and only later reveal his true intentions. The problem is that while he's waiting for the perfect moment, her brain has already placed him in a category that is almost impossible to escape. The category of harmless men, nice friends, good guys who will never trigger the instinct she cannot consciously control. In 2011, researchers from the University of Virginia published a study in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology that explains this phenomenon with remarkable clarity. They found that women showed significantly greater attraction to men whose feelings were somewhat ambiguous compared to men who made it completely obvious how much they liked them. Uncertainty activates dopamine. Predictability often reduces desire. When she knows exactly how you feel, when you're always available and always showing interest, her brain stops releasing the neurotransmitters linked to attraction. There is no mystery. There is no pursuit. There is nothing to chase. And female desire needs something to chase. Physical presence doesn't mean being invasive or disrespectful. It means taking up space consciously. It means not apologizing for existing. It means maintaining eye contact when she speaks instead of looking away out of nervousness. It means touching her arm naturally during a conversation without hesitation or doubt. It means reducing the distance between you without appearing desperate. These small gestures communicate what words often cannot. They show that you are a man with desire. They show that you see her as a woman. They show that there is an energy between you that goes far beyond friendship. The man who ends up in the friend zone is the one who hides his masculinity. He's the one who tries to be accepted before being desired. He's the one who puts her approval above his own sexual expression and authentic presence. The man who awakens genuine desire does the opposite. He makes it clear from the beginning that there is intention there, not in a rude or rushed way, but in a grounded and present way. He doesn't act like just a colleague or a brother. He acts like a man who recognizes her femininity and is not ashamed to show that he is genuinely attracted to it. This clarity of intention, when combined with confidence and good calibration, is what separates the men she hugs with affection from the men she pulls toward herself with deep desire. Sexual tension is a language spoken with the body, with pauses, with the way you hold silence instead of filling it with nervous words. When you master this language, everything changes. She starts looking at you differently. She begins to notice your movements. She starts wondering, what is he thinking? What is he feeling? What is he going to do next? That uncertainty is the fuel of attraction, and creating that uncertainty is a skill. A skill any man can learn as long as he's willing to let go of the harmless, nice guy posture and step boldly into his role as a masculine presence in her life. What separates the men she forgets from the men she cannot leave? Now you know the 3 pillars: emotional security, direction and purpose, and physical presence combined with sexual tension. 3 elements that sound simple when explained. Yet most men spend their entire lives without truly developing them, not because they're incapable, but because no one ever showed them how female desire actually works. They were raised to believe that love is earned through visible effort, through constant dedication, through daily proof that they deserve to be chosen. And that belief turned them into exactly the type of man women respect but do not desire. Robert Greene spent years studying the patterns of history's greatest seducers. In his seminal work, The Art of Seduction, he reveals a truth that contradicts everything you were taught about relationships. The men who left a profound mark on extraordinary women never tried to please. They never chased approval. They never placed themselves in the position of needing to prove their worth. Instead, they created intense emotional experiences. They led the interaction instead of reacting to it. They understood that seduction is not about giving her what she asks for. It's about awakening something she didn't even know she wanted. This understanding changes everything, because when you stop trying to conquer and start creating emotional states, the entire dynamic shifts in your favor. What you do with this knowledge from this moment forward will define the kind of man you become. You can watch this video, agree with everything you've heard, and tomorrow return to the same old patterns. You can stay predictable. You can continue overwhelming women with excessive attention. You can keep hiding your masculinity out of fear of seeming inappropriate. Or you can decide that this is your turning point. This is the moment you look at your old behaviors and consciously choose to leave them behind. This is the moment you take full responsibility for the reactions you create in women and begin to adjust your actions strategically based on real understanding. There is no magic in what I've shared. There is only a deep understanding of mechanisms that were always operating, but that you never truly saw. The woman who lost interest was not too complicated. The relationship that failed was not fate. The rejection you experienced did not happen because you were not good enough. It happened because you were playing a game without knowing the rules. Now you know them, moving beyond the fundamentals. What I've shown you here are the core fundamentals. These are the basic pillars that support female attraction and desire. But I want to be completely honest with you. There is a level above this. There are specific communication techniques that activate deep emotional triggers in seconds. There are ways to use body language to create genuine tension without saying a single word. There are methods to guide an interaction from the very first glance all the way to deep, meaningful connection with almost surgical precision. This advanced knowledge is what I've spent years developing and refining. These are not generic strategies you find scattered across the internet. These are methods I've developed after years of studying behavioral psychology, neuroscience, and attraction dynamics. Strategies that work because they operate at the level of instinct, not logic. If you want to take the next step and truly master this art, if you want to become the kind of man who doesn't just understand these principles, but lives them effortlessly, I encourage you to explore deeper resources and continue your education on this crucial subject. The bottom line is this: attraction is not luck. It is not determined by your looks or your bank account. It is strategy. It is internal mastery. It is the ability to become the kind of man she cannot ignore, even if she tries. You now have the foundational information. What remains is consistent, intentional action. I'm Dr. Eva Danielle, and I'm committed to helping you become the best version of yourself in every area of your life. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.